Ahoy, and welcome back to another diecast review. And this is of Scott McLaughlin's 2022 Grand Prix of St. Petersburg winner. This is the special figure edition from Authentic Collectibles in 1/18 scale by, of course, Greenlight Collectibles. So the reason I am doing this review late is because, and actually let me backtrack here. So this card has been out for a couple months already. And the reason I'm doing this review kind of late is because I did actually wait for the figure edition to come in for this car. Now, if you remember back to pretty much exactly a year ago, we had a figure edition of his first Indy 500 start. And it's only fitting that his first win also gets a figure edition from Authentic Collectibles. Now, the biggest drawback is the packaging. So with the regular release, we get at least a special packaging like we did for Alex Pallot's first win and a couple of the other special cars. Unfortunately, this one has kind of a bare Authentic Collectibles Scott McLaughlin. The only thing to separate it really is the fact that it says in really small print, 2022 Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg winner and also pole position. So believe it or not, we get a twofer. And yes, so now this one here, I actually did do a little bit of customization on. I did do my own raced version because if you remember back to some of my previous videos covering the raced versions by Greenlight, I said I could do it a lot better. So I went ahead and I put my money where my mouth was. Now, I did film a review of this car before. However, it was very hampered by moving cars and my phone falling down, and yeah, so I thought it'd be at least decent to film a proper review, and I will be uploading both versions of the review. But we're going to be taking a look at this car in depth, and we're going to take a look at the figure edition as well, and I will be comparing it side by side with the previous Dex car, and we can go from there. So let's go ahead and get started with the one special element to this, the Scott McLaughlin figure. So this is an Authentic Collectibles exclusive. It's not him doing the roly-poly after he burned his ass on the exhaust, but it is a decent pose. It's different. It's also Greenlight once again doing figures that are very difficult to stand up. Now this one actually is better than some of them, but it has its moments where it doesn't want to stand up. So let's go ahead and take a look. We'll start the fire suit. So up here, of course, we got NTT IndyCar Series and McLaughlin, which is something that they started doing last year. And actually, let me readjust the light real quick. There we go. Verizon, Hitachi, Dexa Imaging, Chevrolet, and then the Shell V-Power Nitro Plus, PPG is Snap-on, and then you have the New Zealand flag and McLaughlin. So I know in my previous figure reviews, I've been complaining about the quality of the figure, and this one actually turned out really nicely. It's got some nice texturing to the fire suit. I mean, the sculpting on this is actually really good. Now keep in mind, these are just resin figures. So the sculpting on it is actually really decent. Scott McLaughlin really doesn't wear a really form-fitting suit, and it's reflected quite well in this. I will give it credit. It does have a Hans device, kind of, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute, which is something that the previous figure editions never really had. We got Firestone on top of the shoulder, and then we have Chevrolet discount tire. Yeah, discount tire. That's weird, because it also has tire rack on the car. Sancio shell, and then Dex Imaging. We get to the back, you can see some nice sculpting. It actually looks like there's a person in a article of clothing. Now, here's what I meant when I said that it kind of has a Hans device. It doesn't have the back piece to the Hans device. So, for whatever reason, it looks more like those neck braces at a rental karting track than it does an actual. And here's the thing, Greenlight knew what they were doing because you can see the FIA sticker there, the homologation sticker for the fire suit. Maybe. But yeah, it's right there. The helmet's nicely done. It's got the number 3 with the New Zealand flag on it. And just a decent paint application, or decent wrapping to it. All black visor with Dex Imaging on it. It's a really, really solid figure. You can see the stripe running down the side. And I mean, it's a good pose. Definitely with him kind of with his fist up in the air, celebrating the win. You know, it's a solid figure. So let's go ahead and take a look at this car. So starting off here at the nose, and you can see some of the race markings on there that I added. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, but you have Verizon on the main plane. You have Dallara, Shell, Pennzoil, TireRack.com, which is a new addition to the car. NTT IndyCar Series, the number 3 Index Imaging, and you can see some of the rubber marks on the nose. And actually, this car, I don't know if I said this before, but it really, really reminds me of Helio's 2015 livery, for whatever reason. But on the aero screen, you got McLaughlin right there, and it's got little tiny markings, nothing overly done. You have Hitachi here on the front wing end plate. As in previous videos, when I've been reviewing Scott McLaughlin cars, I mentioned that that they run on Firestone, or the Authentic Collectibles, excuse me. The Authentic Collectibles version has the Firestone Reds, and this one's no exception. The standard one has just the regular Firestone Blacks, but this one, again, has Firestone Reds. And as per typical, the suspension and rims are in chrome. Down here at the end of the bulkhead, you have Sancio. And then black mirrors with Siemens and Mazak. And then you have McLaughlin on the aero screen. You have Shell and NTT IndyCar Series, and then Shell V-Power Nitro Plus. And then you have Firestone, and again, just some subtle markings, and you got some kick up from the front wheels at the leading edge of the side pod and Dex Imaging. I do feel like I have to throw in there that it did not come from Greenlight Raced. Otherwise, they would look like crap. You have the number 3 up here, black camera pod, Fuel Buckeye, Shell, or not Shell yet, not Shell yet, but Car Shop, and then Penske Truck Rental, PPG, Snap-on, and then you have Chevrolet, XPEL, and the NTT PT1 Pull Award. Little subtle tire markings on the rear ramp, the tire ramp, and then you have on the rear wing. The other big differential thing is the NTT P1 Pull Award for St. Pete, and then you got some more kick up there with the number 3, and then Dex Imaging. On the rear of the wing, you got Dex Imaging again, and then right here, there is no rookie stripe anymore. On this side, it's more of the same as usual. You got some more kick up here behind this. I think I may have underdone that a little bit, honestly. And then on the engine cover, kind of same situation. There's a little bit of paint marking or paint issues on there. Weird. Like this one little, let me show you. It's got this like one strip of like, it wasn't me that did that either. Yeah, that's like in the paint, which is weird. Strange. There's like this one strip where it's just like little lines, but whatever. And then you can see some more tire kick up from the tire there. And surprisingly, there's not like aero screen coming up or anything, and the bulkheads and everything are all like snapped together properly, which you know I've had a big issue with. This has been a solid car, and we have actually the standard release Dex Imaging car here. The red is actually different. That is actually a little surprising. Oh. The red is actually kind of more like an orangey red. It's like a lighter red than last year's, which is actually kind of surprising. It's mostly the same car. I mean, you have subtle differences like tire rack and not tire rack, and XPEL is on this one, but not this one. Like, there is subtle changes in terms of decaling, but the general car is the same. But now we're going to go to the comparison that I really care about in this review, and we're going to take a look at race versions here. Tell me which one looks real, like it's actually been through a race, and which one looks like, well, shit. If you said real and said this one, you are correct. If you said shit and this one, you would also be correct. If you said this one looks good and looks real, you might need some help. If you said this one looks bad and not real, you still might need some help. So, listen, my point is, Greenlight, it took me all of about 20 minutes to make one that looks at least somewhat realistic. And it took you how long to make that? I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be hard to mass produce these. You just take the base car, add some black streaks with some matte black paint. And, if you make a mistake, it's wet paint, you can change it. It's not that hard of a thing to do. I mean, if you're going to give us race versions, do like you used to. At least it looked decent. But, no, here's what I have to say about this car. Out of 10, what would I rate this? And honestly, I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. It's hard for me to argue against this car. I mean, it's a car that we've had in the past. It's nothing really special. It's not that different, minus the P1 Pole Award. But it is, it's a solid car. You can't go wrong with a simple car. So for sure, yes, it's a fantastic piece, and I do recommend getting it, especially if you're a Scott McLaughlin fan. It's a solid car. It really is. And I don't have any complaints because there's no quality control issues or anything like that. And, I did do my own race version and I left that factor out of it. It's a really good car. So, yeah, definitely get it. Now, before I get the comment from somebody, yes, I am uploading the other video. And just to warn you, I tried to carry on through it, but there was a lot of laughter. But I don't know, to wrap it up, yes, it's a very solid car. And yes, you can buy this without the figure edition. The figure edition is limited to 800 and something pieces. So it is in limited supply. It does come with a signed certificate of authenticity. But no, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. It's a car that they've done in the past, and they've actually had the ability to correct some of the issues that they had with it. And there wasn't really any to begin with. So yes, it's a good car. But other than that, that's it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I do actually hope you get this car. Good job, Greenlight. Peace out.